Guys, Oscars predictions are tomorrow, bright and freaking early, so I'm here to give you my final predictions for who's gonna be in those lineups, guys. Lots of nominations right on the way. We've got all categories dropping early tomorrow morning, so hey, I figure better late than never, right? Let's get these final predictions in and let me know your predictions down in the comments. As you're viewing the video, drop those predictions, baby. Let me know what you guys are thinking. And there's a few categories I did eliminate because I will admit I'm weak in some of these categories. The short categories, unfortunately, I did eliminate. And documentary feature, I gotta get on that, guys. But hey, if it's your first time on the channel, hit that subscribe button. The name's Leo Rydell, and here we cover the latest in movies, TV, Marvel, DC. Guys, any corner of the Geekverse we can hit, we hitting it here on the channel. So we are hitting Oscars 2023 nominations predictions today, baby. So let's get started, shall we? We're gonna start out with costume design, guys. And for costume design, I've got Elvis, Black Panther, Wakanda Forever, Babylon, The Woman King, and Everything Everywhere All at Once. Now, each of these were actually nominated at the Critics' Choice Awards, so I've got them all lined up here, but I also think each individual movies had some really great costumes. And of course, Ruth E. Carter won the Oscar for the first Black Panther film, so I could see Wakanda Forever sneaking its way into the list as well. Each one of these were also a part of the Costume Designer Guild nominations, so I think each of them have a solid chance of making it. Don't really have a hot take for this one. I think maybe Mrs. Harris Goes to Paris because that did receive a BAFTA nomination. It's very possible that that could sneak in there. Haven't seen Mrs. Harris Goes to Paris, so I can't quite say personally, but it does have the BAFTAs running for it, and I do believe it also had a CDG nomination as well. Let's move on, guys. We are moving to hair and makeup, and I've got The Whale and The Batman. Those two seem very obvious to me to be choices here for the nominations. I definitely think they had great uses of prosthetics. Of course, Brendan Fraser and how he looked in the film. And then the Batman, you had the Penguin, you had Paul Dano, you had Batman himself. Great use of makeup and prosthetics in those movies. Same with Elvis. Austin Butler looks exactly like Elvis. So I definitely think those are the three front runners. I hate to say this, I hate to say it, but I do think Blonde could show up here. I think this is one of two nominations where it could show up, and I wish it didn't show up anywhere, guys, but it is getting a little buzz in that category. And then the last one I do have is Amsterdam. It did seem like that was one of the nominations and categories that could stick out. But hey, maybe Everything Everywhere All at Once ends up sneaking up in this category, guys. I'm not putting it past the Oscars to put EEAAO here. I definitely think EEAAO is going to win a lot and win big. And once I drop my Oscar, once the nominations drop and I drop my final predictions from winners, then you will see a lot of EEAAO for my list. Let's move on, guys, to visual effects. My predictions are Avatar: The Way of Water, All Quiet on the Western Front, The Batman, Top Gun: Maverick, and Black Panther: Wakanda Forever. And I put maybe 13 Lives. I seen that had got nominated in a few places, but I'm pretty confident in my visual effects. These are all off the Oscar shortlist, and let's just be 100% Avatar: The Way of Water. This is the definite award it will win. The first one did win visual effects. I definitely think this one is going to win. Out of all the names I put on there, Top Gun: Maverick, Black Panther, The Batman, All Quiet, none of them, at least visual effects wise, come close to Avatar: The Way of the Water. It took so long for Avatar: The Way of Water to actually finalize and be finished. I think that deserves the standing ovation for visual effects. I gotta admit it deserves a lot for those visual effects, guys. So I definitely think that's gonna end up winning, but this is my list, and like I said, maybe we'll get 13 Lives in there. Maybe, hey, hear me out, I got another hot take. Maybe Guillermo del Toro's Pinocchio sneaks its way into this. Hey, we could see. Let's just wait and see. I don't even know if that was on the short list. That was so spontaneous, so maybe I'll be wrong. But let's move on, guys, to best sound. We're going in all of these sound categories now, and for best sound, I have All Quiet on the Western Front, Elvis, Top Gun: Maverick, The Batman, and Everything Everywhere All at Once. I think I kind of have a little bit of a hot take there with that EEAAO, but again, I just see it sweeping through a lot of categories. I think that was another thing it did very, very well. The use of and not use of sound, and just how many different settings it went to. So I've got it in production design as well, I believe. But also The Batman, I think it had a great use of sound, especially during the scene where Batman and Penguin are driving in the Batmobile and Penguin's car. I think that that is a beautifully sound design piece of cinema. That was just amazing. The explosions, the car revving, it was so well done. And I also got Top Gun Maverick. The jet sounds, the way that it just plays with sound is very well done. Elvis, of course, getting on the stage, cutting to and from the stage, and then Tom Hanks's annoying fucking monologues throughout the movie. I'm sorry. These annoying monologues, y'all, get on my damn nerves. But I definitely think that that has a chance as well. And All Quiet on the Western Front, that's getting a lot of love. It's got a BAFTA CCA nomination. It's got a nomination from the CAS, the Cinematic Audio Society. So I definitely think that's got a very good chance as well. Let's move on to Best Song, guys. I think it's a shoo-in that Naatu Naatu makes it on this list. Lift Me Up, I think, will also be nominated. Ciao Papa, Hold My Hand. And here's my hot take. I think Carolina, Where the Crawdads Sing. I think Taylor Swift has a lot of buzz always, and I can foresee this one sneaking its way in there, being that kind of quiet, low runner here. I definitely think Taylor Swift has some buzz, so I think that can sneak its way in there. And it's on the short list, so I think it's got a chance. But let's move on to original score. And I've got Women Talking, Babylon, The Fabelmans, Guillermo del Toro's Pinocchio, and Black Panther Wakanda Forever. And I said, it's possible, my hot take here, my hot prediction, maybe Nope sneaks into this category to get something. I just feel like Nope is getting absolutely no buzz. It's so disappointing because that was a great film in my opinion, and watching it a second time, I really enjoyed it. But I think each one of these scores is fantastic. Women Talking, unfortunately, has lost a lot of steam. So I think if it makes it into anything, it could be here. I want to say it was a CCA nomination and a couple of other nominations, but unfortunately, Women Talking has been massively overlooked. I mean, the cast has really got nothing. Like the SAG Awards didn't really, I think they got acting ensemble at the SAG Awards, but I'm like, geez, they're not really getting anything, not picking up much for what I thought they were going to. But let's move on, guys. We are out of the sound categories. We're moving to production design, and I've got, for my predictions for nominations, I've got Elvis, Babylon, Avatar, The Way of Water, Black Panther, Wakanda Forever, and All Quiet on the Western Front. All Quiet and Elvis showed up at the BAFTAs for this category. All Quiet, Babylon, and Elvis came up at the BAFTAs, and All Quiet at the Western Front came up at the BAFTAs. I don't know. I see some love for Black Panther, Wakanda Forever coming up here. I definitely think it has a bit of a chance. I know we're back in Wakanda, but hey, Wakanda deserves some recognition, okay? But let's move on to cinematography. And I pulled a couple that were nominated from the American Society of Cinematographers, but for Best Cinematography, I've got for my nominations Top Gun Maverick, Avatar, Way of Water, The Fabelmans, Elvis, All Quiet on the Western Front. Now, Top Gun Maverick has a BAFTA nomination. It's got the American Society of Cinematographers, and then it's also got the Critics' Choice Award nomination, had that nomination as well. Fabelmans had a nomination at Critics' Choice. Avatar, Way of Water had a nomination at Critics' Choice. Elvis had the American Society of Cinematographers and a BAFTA. I just feel like this is a strong list. All Quiet really cleaned up at the BAFTAs. I think that really revived its chances a little bit in the race. I think it was kind of a little shy here at the beginning, but with the BAFTAs giving it so much recognition, I think that can give it a little push to squeeze its way in some of these categories, cinematography being one of them. Honestly, before I shot this video last night, I was like, nah, there's no way. And then I went and looked at the BAFTAs. I went and looked at the American Society of Cinematographers, the CCA. I just did a sweep of all the awards and nominations that are coming out. I think All Quiet's got some, I think it's gonna quietly sneak into some of these categories, but let's move on to another technical category in film editing. I definitely think Everything Everywhere All at Once has got to be in this category, right? I mean, the expert editing in that movie is buttery smooth. It's chaotic, but in a fun and entertaining and very like film enhancing way. It really enhances the film, and especially the premise of traveling to these different multiverses and different universes. It just really made the film. The editing was such a strong such a strong part of EAAO that I think it could absolutely carry in this category. I also had Elvis, The Banshees and Inisherin, Top Gun Maverick, All Quiet on the Western Front for editing. Banshees, Elvis, Top Gun, and All Quiet, all these showed up at the BAFTAs, and I think I can agree that all of these will show up at the Oscars as well. I want to say all of them also showed up at the CCA. Banshees, I don't think showed up at the CCA for editing. It might have. Honestly, some of them, I'm not extremely familiar with where they showed up and where they didn't, but I know for sure they all showed up at that BAFTA list, and I think that that's a pretty solid list for film editing. Now, let's move on to Best International Feature Film. I've got All Quiet on the Western Front, EO, Decision to Leave, Bardo, and Saint Omer, and I think maybe India did not push RRR in international film, but maybe it shows up. I mean, maybe it gets there, guys. That's my hot take there, is that maybe RRR finds and squeezes its way into the nominations lineup. I mean, look, it's getting a lot of buzz for Naatu. I think it could possibly show up. Maybe I'm wrong, but I can foresee it showing up. And y'all gotta let me know, Best International Film, I'm definitely slacking this year. I know my stack and my lineup is probably not. I know Close is another big one that could end up on the list. There's some other ones that could also end up on the list. So I understand that one I'm not very confident with my list, but that's just what I've seen, and knowing based off of the buzz I've seen around these movies, that's what I came up with. But let's move on to animated feature, guys. Animated feature, we've got Guillermo del Toro, Marcel the Shell with Shoes On, Puss in Boots: The Last Wish, Turning Red, and then this last one, guys, I am so torn. I'm like, okay, is it Sea Beast? Is it Wendell and Wild sneaking in there? Is it Strange World? The hot predictions I've got are Wendell and Wild and Strange World. Wendell and Wild had a CCA nomination, and I want to say the Annie Awards also did give Wendell and Wild a nomination. Hold up, let me check that. Yes, they did give Wendell and Wild a nomination for the Annie Awards, so I think it could pick up. The Annie Awards did not put Marcel the Shell with Shoes On there, though, so they had Sea Beast and Wendell and Wild on there. I wonder if we could see a little mix-up, maybe no Marcel, but then again, I feel like Marcel's doing really hot right now. I think it'll end up on the final list. But let's move on to, now we're getting the screenplay, guys. Let's move on to Best Adapted Screenplay, and a lot of these I pulled from CCA. The WGA has not released their nominations yet, so the WGA will also determine a little bit more who's likely to win. But honestly, I think I think the WGA actually announces their nominations on Wednesday after the Oscar ones. It's something weird, but my predictions for nominations for Best Adapted Screenplay are Glass Onion. I know Knives Out received a nomination. Women Talking, She Said, Living, and The Whale. And let's move on to Best Original Screenplay. I've got The Banshees of Inisherin, Everything Everywhere All at Once, Tar, The Fabelmans. And I'm stuck between After Sun or Elvis. I wonder if After Sun, that might be, actually I'm a hot take. I wonder if After Sun could sneak in there. And then maybe I've got a hot take with The Menu. I wonder if that could potentially creep its way in. I mean, that was a razor sharp script. Wondering if maybe the Academy recognizes that. Now, let's go to supporting actor, guys. We're getting down the wire, down to the acting categories, guys. Honestly, Ke Huy Quan, he definitely is going to win that. Brendan Gleeson, Barry Keoghan, Paul Dano, and Eddie Redmayne. I'll be honest with you guys, I had to just plug somebody in that last one, and I put Eddie in there. I want to say it was SAG that put him in, so I was like, look, I'm kind of just copying and pasting what they're going. I did not really know what fit for that spot. But I think it's a shoo-in for Ke Huy Quan. I think he absolutely has the trophy. He's gotten the Golden Globe so far. He's got a SAG nomination. He's winning tons of local critic awards. He's won anything that has already aired. He's pretty much won. So I absolutely think he's a shoo-in for this. I mean, he's been nominated in damn near every major award. He's getting so much buzz. Like, it's his trophy. Let's just give it to him. I think out of this whole list, that's the definitive absolute yes. That and Avatar Way of Water getting visual effects. Those are the two that you can walk in confident they're going to happen. So let's move on to supporting actors with a great lineup. We've got Angela Bassett from Black Panther Wakanda Forever, of course. Hong Chow, Carrie Condon, Jamie Lee Curtis, and Stephanie Hsu. And I'm going to agree with what a lot of people are saying. I kind of wish Jamie Lee, she didn't really do much in the EAO. So I was a little bit weirded out as to why they were including her in the lineup. I think Stephanie Hsu is the one that deserves a nomination, and I think that she absolutely did her best. Like, she did an absolute fantastic job as both Joy and Jabba Tawaki. I do think it was a little bit weird to get Jamie Lee Curtis in there as well, because why Jamie Lee if we already got Stephanie Hsu? But I think that might be the supporting actress lineup, and honestly, I think Angela Bassett could go for it. But hey, maybe not. Let's move on to Best Actor, guys. And I've got 3 that I'm just like, okay, these are our 3 front runners here. And that's Colin Farrell, Austin Butler. And that's Colin Farrell, Austin Butler, and Brendan Fraser. Those are absolute front runners. Those 3 are kind of in a 3-way battle here for that, because Austin Butler got it at Golden Globes. I know that Brendan has been recognized somewhere. He got the SAG nomination. So it's just kind of a 3-way between those 3. Colin Farrell also got the Golden Globe, if I'm not mistaken. So it's just quite the run for those 3. But also I've got Bill Nighy with Living. He's getting a lot of buzz everywhere. This last spot though is like weird, because okay, for me, I'm going to go with Diego Calva. I think they might recognize Babylon somewhere, and if it's somewhere, I'm thinking maybe Diego Calva gets a little bit of love here. He was nominated for a Golden Globe. Golden Globe. But I also think maybe Jeremy Pope, who also got nominated for a Golden Globe, Tom Cruise, or Paul Mescal. One of those 3 could end up there as well. Now let's move on to Best Actress, because this is one that's kind of crazy. But for Best Actress, my prediction for the nominations are Cate Blanchett, Michelle Yeoh, Danielle Deadwyler, Ana de Armas, and Viola Davis. Now, Anna, I'll be honest with you guys, I really don't want her to get nominated for Blonde, but goodness, she's got a SAG nomination, she's got a Golden Globe and a BAFTA now nominations. I think she's a shoo-in. Danielle Deadwyler, that's one that may not be a shoo-in. She did get a BAFTA nomination, which thank goodness, and she got a CCA, but I cannot confidently say that she will get an Oscar nomination. I think that you got 3 others that I think have 2 others at least that you got some strong chances, and I think that's Michelle Williams, Margot Robbie. But I was wondering if, hey, maybe they play it cool and hot take here, Keke Palmer. Somebody who completely made nope. Maybe, hear me out. Maybe they open the door for Keke to get a nomination. That'd be cool. I definitely think it's between Cate Blanchett and Michelle Yeoh at the end of the day, but hey, maybe we see Keke sneak in there and get that nomination, guys. That'd be cool. Something to throw a wrench in it all. But let's move on, guys, to Best Director. And I think for me, most of these are from the DGA. I think Cameron was not nominated, but I've got Daniels, Steven Spielberg, Martin McDonagh, James Cameron, and Gina Prince Bythewood. I think this is a little bit of a mix of who I want and who I'm predicting. I just feel like Cameron, Spielberg, they're definitely going to get there. Martin McDonagh, I think he's got a lot of buzz, as well as the Daniels have a lot of buzz as well. They won in my local critics awards. Gina Prince, by the way, that was kind of more of a wish and a hope, where rather than like what I guess I could realistically predict. There's just a lot of straight white guys in the SAG or in the directors nominations this year. So I'm like, okay, I need somebody. I need one more person of color other than just half the Daniels. But guys, let's get to our big one, the final prediction, guys. The final nominations, predictions, guys. The big one of the night, the Best Picture lineup, guys. And so mine is mostly based on PGA. However, I did take some stuff out of PGA that were nominated there. So here's my 10, guys. And I 100% want you guys to rip this one up. I know I may be completely wrong on some of these, but I wanna for Best Picture, I'm gonna give you my top 10, and then I'm gonna give you a few others I think absolutely could definitely be on the list as well, but are just not in my personal 10. But let's go with my 10, guys. I've got Avatar: The Way of Water, The Banshees of Inisherin, Black Panther: Wakanda Forever, Elvis, Everything Everywhere All at Once, Tar, The Woman King, She Said, Top Gun: Maverick, and RRR. I think those 10 have been strong throughout the whole race. I think I'm really reaching with RRR. I'm really reaching, but I would love to see it get a Best Picture nomination. But there are others that I think have such a strong chance, and my other list is Glass Onion, Women Talking, Guillermo del Toro's Pinocchio, All Quiet on the Western Front, and The Whale. I think each and every one of them have a big chance of getting there, with my hot take probably being Guillermo del Toro's Pinocchio. but I think that they all have a solid chance of ending up at that best picture lineup, y'all. But you guys gotta let me know which of my list was the craziest, guys. And of course, let me know your predictions down in the comments. Best picture, director, actor, actress, let me know them all, or whichever categories you so choose, guys. But hey, I'm looking forward to figuring out what these nominations are. So come on back to the channel tomorrow bright and early at 6:30 a.m. MT, guys, 5:30 a.m. PT. Whew, it's early, y'all, early. Come on back early on the channel, and we will be reacting here to the Oscar nominations. Of course, there's gonna be some crazy ones, so stick around, guys, and let me know your thoughts down in the comments. And if you're new to the channel, hit that subscribe button for your boy, and we'll see you next time on Geekly Goods.